All right, we want to welcome everybody to the fourth Seekers podcast, and we'll be talking about all sorts of different kinds of cryptids and stuff related to Bigfoot, and just what's all going on around in our area here. We got a couple more guests that may join us here in a little bit. We got a little bit later start than what we've been doing because the heat and everything, and uh, we're just gonna kick right into it. My guest tonight is BC Davis and Thomas uh, Anderson here, filling in as a co-host, and maybe Neil will get in here tonight if he's not working, or Dale or Sean, but we're looking for any of those. Want to welcome both of y'all here, and y'all got anything y'all want to say? I want to start with you,
Thank you.
Thomas.
I don't have much to say, and just trying to bear this heat like everybody else.
All right,
uh,
it's been hot, that's for
so,
sure.
too hot for man or beast.
BC, you there?
I think
Yeah, I'm here.
beast.
All right, you got anything you want to say to the guests as we're getting started here?
All right. Well, I told you about that whoop that was 3 weeks ago yesterday that me and a friend were out front talking,
Yeah,
and we heard a very distinct whoop. He said he heard two. I only heard one. But anybody out there that may be listening to this, if you listen to Sasquatch Chronicles, they have that audio montage at the beginning, and there's two whoops. That's exactly what it sounded like. And it comes from the direction where there's a pond. So I'm thinking that maybe they're just out on a water search or whatever. And one of them hollered at another one. And a friend of mine in that, probably about a tenth or a mile or so down from me towards the west, there's an open field. And he saw something out there. He thinks it may have been a bear, but he said it was on all fours. Couldn't see its head. But just going through out there in the middle of the day, so that'd have to be a bear. But that's still pretty concerning that a bear would be out walking around in the middle of the day like that.
they do, but
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, don't it?
yeah. Since you heard that other noise, the whoop,
Yeah. I
they've
think
been
that was maybe like a day or two later when he saw that.
Yeah, they've been known to do what they call the spider crawl too when they see
Yeah.
people or hear them. So possibly
Yeah.
it could have been a squatch.
Yeah, because there's a pond. There's another one out at a golf course. It's about, I don't know, half mile down from me.
Right.
Yeah, they're known to get down all fours and go that direction. You see mistaken for a bear crossing a field.
Yeah, but he didn't get a look at the head. He just said it was, I don't know, pretty tall, even for a bear, the way he described it. But he didn't see the head or anything like that. So he just saw something with black fur going through the field on all fours. So who knows?
With this heat, all kinds of animals is going to be moving, and
Yeah,
don't want to call it migrating, but they're looking for water sources because what they've got had, like the branch here, even though we got a rain last week, the branch is still just all dried up. You might find a hole every now and then in it, but
yeah, there was a pond,
Well, that's
there is a
what we.
pond back there, but I don't walk back there, so I don't know if it's out of water or if it just got a drink and was headed somewhere else, or who knows.
right.
Well, that's like over in northwest Arkansas, the River Valley area. We got those rains. We got that bum Sunday night. We got a small shower came through yesterday, but it wasn't enough for anything. The creeks are running real low. Some of the creeks are the branches tied up, and all that. is on drought warnings. So we'll be looking for water.
Yep.
So
Well, the long range forecast has us for, I think it's thunderstorms in mid 80s next weekend. We'll see.
That'd be good.
All right, I take that. Yes, sir.
That'd be
that'll
unusual
cut off a lot of area.
for it
Well,
almost.
maybe I think it's like a tropical system maybe coming up or something.
That'd be good. Let's see. If anybody's got any questions out there, feel free to leave a comment and we'll answer your questions. Or you can send them to the Arkansas Boys at gmail.com, the questions, and we'll try to answer them tonight the best we can. If for some reason we can't come up with an answer, we'll seek it out. We'll find somebody and see what their opinion is and find an answer. All right, we got our first question. Since we was talking about migrating, do we believe that the Bigfoot migrate from north to south or like that? Well, like I said, they're going to search for food and water anytime there's any kind of bad conditions. I don't necessarily think that all Bigfoot migrate, but I could see them moving depending on food source and weather conditions. What's y'all's opinion on that? Let's go with Thomas first.
Well, they're going to be like Native Americans used to be. They're going to follow the food source wherever it goes. As far as this heat we're having, they're going to be looking for water. All animals be looking for water. Be it a pond, creek almost dried up, mud, something to get water. And plus, they're going to be trying to find someplace cool.
Right.
I mean, you hit the valley that's hot. You go up high. The same you're going to end up the higher up you go. So I figure they're going to be hitting the caves. But again, they've got to have a food source. They've got to have a water source.
All right. You want to comment on that, BC?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think pretty much everybody's about familiar with that. A friend of mine lives, I'll just say he lives southeast of Batesville, and he's accustomed to hearing sounds of all description, and he said it's been real quiet because all the tributaries and creeks up there have dried up. So they've obviously, moved down into the bottoms, is my guess. I mean, water's where you find it, and that's where you're going to find plenty of it, what's out there anyway.
Right. Lowest spot or a pond that's spring fed.
Right.
Yep.
So I'm just guessing that whoop was either to say, yeah, there's water here or there's no water here. I don't know.
Right. They're going to communicate and let others know just the way we used to do and everything. We didn't have cell phones or nothing.
Right.
Growing up, and a kid, and we'd whoop and holler, and we had our own little code words and everything for the kids that was up the next holler, and the next, and we'd do that, and then everybody would meet down there, and we called it the crawdad hole, but they do the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we used to do. Fling along Hurricane Creek. We'd go fishing. We'd be in water. On water, we everybody run to that mud hole, try to catch some fish. Even swimming, we'd do that stuff. Just find some place to get.
still hadn't heard from Dale. That's unusual, huh? I don't know. He may be out of town or something. Uh, talking about activity and your recent activity there, BC. Have you heard anything else around the Ball Knob area there that?
Not recently. Normally, if some people that have some sort of weird experiences, they'll holler at me, and I haven't heard anything. So, the heat might be keeping them still too.
Right.
Just go find water and hang out there.
Right. Well, that's like me right now, BC. I'm not in the Valley. I'm just probably about 12, 15 miles from you. I'm over here in Center Hill with my sisters this week.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, y'all might. I don't know what Robert's schedule is. Y'all might hook up and do something over there.
Yeah. If you ever want to come over, man, I'll be your tour guide. I'll show you where the hot spot. And that guy that lives southeast of Batesville is someone that, he's got a lot of stuff. I need to try to get him on the show sometime. I'll talk to him about it.
Yeah, we're always welcome to any guest.
Yeah, he's been into this for, oh gosh, I don't know, 20 plus years, I'm guessing. I think it was around 22 years ago. He was out hunting, him and a friend. This is between Bradford and a little community of Denmark. And they run across these prints they could not identify. And it was like 20 years later, he said he got to looking and it looked like dogman tracks.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. But he said that area from Russell, Arkansas up to Newport, he said all those bottoms, he said, man, there's all kinds of stuff in there. I just have to let him tell you about it.
Right. That's the area that most of the dogmen sightings are reported. I said I don't exactly know what it is, but
I only know one. Well, that's two, at least a track. And then there was a sighting around Floyd. This is around, I'm guessing, 2002, something like that, where one ran across the road. It was on all fours, but, I was talking to the guy that had the sighting, so I just pulled up some, Googled images of Dogman, and he pointed at one. He said it looked like that. And I was like, he said, because it looked like, quote, a coyote on steroids. And he said it was as long as half the width of the road. And I couldn't tell you what the minimum width of a road is in rural White County. I'm guessing, I don't know, 12, 14 feet, 16, I don't know. But
yeah,
even if
16 foot is usually the minimum on a dirt road all the way across.
Well, he said at stride that thing was 8 feet. So that thing was 8 feet, whatever it was. And a friend of him who's now passed away had told him, don't ever stop out there because there's, quote, something out there.
You gotta
the bait zone.
Yeah, that's what he say. He's here, but he ain't said nothing. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
It tells you got him muted.
No.
He's got a lot of kids in the background here.
Oh yeah, he's muting himself. That's why I didn't have him muted.
Yeah, it's just me. I'll turn the camera on here for a second. I'm in my daughter's room. I had to get away. My wife's watching the show, and I got about 3 or 4 other kids over here right now.
Awesome.
Y'all doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah, BC on that dog man sighting. I don't code dog, but that's way too long for a dog.
Yeah, that's not a coyote, and and I don't know if there's wolves around here. I've heard of people spotting red wolves, but even a coy wolf or anything like that is not going to be 8 feet long.
No.
Even if it was stretched out from, say, front paws to end paws, you're still looking at something probably close to 7 feet, 6 feet long, and that's still too big.
I only seen one thing that was close to that big, and I was driving a Dodge 12-passenger van that I used to drive, but the motor went out on it. But I was going to Branson, And just before we got to Leslie, there was something standing beside the road. It was the ugliest looking dog thing I ever seen, but it was even with the hood on that van and stretched all the way across the van. So I just stopped as it went across the road, but it was it was like a Great Dane with big teeth and hair spiked down his back, center of its back.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
Yeah,
was.
I've never actually
yeah. Back
ran
in
into a dog man or anything, but I've ran into some places that make the hair on the back of your neck stand up and tell you it's time to get out of there.
Oh yeah. Well, I wouldn't want to mess that out in the woods just
then,
by just out there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
uh,
I think
well,
there's I think there's two
go,
different types out there.
go ahead.
I don't know if y'all can hear me very well. I'm on the phone, so I'm not on a computer tonight.
Oh, you sound good. But
But
the biggest thing is 2007 hunting season. My son and I decided to cut down. At the time we lived at Griggs, sitting across the back way from Griggs going up to my magazine go deer hunting. And we were on Johnson Road. And this thing comes out of brush. My son, I was watching the field next to us because usually deer there. My son goes, "What in the hell is that, Dad?" One of the ugliest dogs I've ever seen. I speeded up to catch up with the thing. And it was a coy dog. It was half a coyote dog. That thing was tall. I told him, I said, I'd never heard of them being around here. Finally had them all killed out.
yeah,
But that just proves. Oh,
I've got them working.
go ahead.
This is just a theory that I have, but I kind of believe that whatever they call the dog man, I think it's got something to do with what the military's doing or somebody genetically modified that. I don't really believe that it's something that's always been here. I think it was built by the military, and that's just my opinion on it. You know,
I can't remember the link or the site, but there's supposedly drawings of dogmen in caves in Africa dating back thousands of years. True or not, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look that up, but that kind of caught my eye some months
it
back.
is true. There was. I do a lot of study into like ancient history and read a lot of books and stuff. There is. There's a book that I ran across that it has pictures in there, and it's back from like the 1800s. That there was a race of like dog type people, and I don't know. There's a lot of stories that go back. I mean, all the way back to Egypt when they talk about Anubis was half dog and half human himself.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that stuff that I believe myself that they've been genetically modifying, people and animals since the dawn of the age. Man, there's traces all across the world of genetically modified beings all everywhere if you look close enough.
Well, Stalin wanted to create what? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll let y'all talk.
I'll go ahead, BC.
Okay, it was Stalin, and I watched a documentary on this that he was wanting to create a human Z. He was actually trying to, train these obedient but not very smart soldiers. It didn't work out, so they say. But yeah, so that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm sure it still goes on. And now that they can get down to the subatomic level, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, also Hitler was, there's a lot of reports of Hitler actually created what they call werewolves in those days. They call them
I've not
werewolves.
heard of that.
Yeah,
I know he was kind of into the occult a little bit, or at least Himmler was.
Yeah, Hitler and what's that scientist guy that was working for him? They were all into the cult and summoning what they call demonic beings. And there's stories of U.S. soldiers and English soldiers that I've read that they were actually in battle and they would see the guys go down, and then they swore up down that wolves came over and would eat the bodies right next to them. I mean, I've heard accounts, I've read accounts of stuff like that. So
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. I got a report from a guy that I know that was in Vietnam. He said it was a monthly occurrence that they fought. I forget what he called it. It was a weird name, but anyway, it was that they would go out and the rock apes would be throwing rocks at them, and eventually to run them off, they'd have to throw a hand grenade or whatever. And he said it's just common knowledge. I mean, you could see them. He said, and he said, I don't know why people don't talk about them. They ain't quite as big as the Bigfoot, but. And I said, well, I hadn't really heard nothing about it, but I posted on the Arkansas Bigfoot. It's orange pendeck or something like that.
Yeah,
it's
ran
a form of So it's just
there's supposed to be I think a shorter version.
I had a buddy of mine that went out there hunting at, Chaffee, the base out there at Chaffee.
Yeah.
Here about a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He shot a deer out there. He said the darn thing wasn't about 40 yards from him, and he was walking down the hill to go get it. And he said something drug it off, and he was trying to get back, follow wherever it went or something. He said that damn thing was growling at him the whole time he was out there, and he backed out of that damn place. And he said that thing paced him the whole way out of there until he got to a clearing. But I told him, I said, man, I wouldn't doubt it. I said, the military doing all kinds of stuff around there. Anywhere around that Chaffee.
Well, over there's been reports of sightings of big bear for decades. I mean, but there's certain areas you're allowed to go and certain areas you're not allowed to go on that. But, on there. You never know when there's a special operations when there's training or they're having a war games. War games goes on there between Army and Navy, Army Marines, Army units. But those guys have. Some of them kind of let it slip. They seen them on there. And like deer, they're going to know where it's a safe place to go. Those guys sometimes use live ammunition, but only on the shooting range. When they're out training like that, it's kind of like laser tag. They don't have any ammunition out in that field. And around Chaffee, they just learned that we can go here and be safe. Now, driving down Highway 96, so it goes from the middle of Chaffee from Highway 22 over to Greenwood, you can tell when it's hunting season. It's fixing to start because usually about a week before you'll have deer leaving the side they're allowed to hunt, going over to the other side. So that's it. They won't be the same. Yeah,
I'm under.
every game
I'm
animal.
I'm kind of under the impression that the only reason they let people hunt out there is so they can train these things. I may be wrong about this, but I've talked to several people that went out there and hunted and had similar occurrences where they down deer out there and then they go to look for it and it's gone. You know?
Well, I have a
That's
friend.
happened to everything.
He was in his early 20s, but that happened to him in northern Michigan. It was by a military base up there too. He shot a deer. He tracked a blood trail there. He found the deer. He went back to get all of his equipment to drag the deer off, and the deer was gone. But the same deal. He heard the growling and trees shaking and
Yeah.
everything as he walked out. He said he come over and was telling me about that because he knows I'm into Bigfoot and everything. He says, "Now, do you think that was a bear or if that was a Bigfoot?" I said, "I have no way to tell, but what did it sound like?" And I played bear growls and everything on the internet for him. He said, "No, it didn't sound like that." And I played some of the sniffs and snorts that and the growl, deep low growl that has been associated with Bigfoot. He said that's exactly what it sounded like. So he still ain't a believer, but I think he was right in almost having a Bigfoot encounter and didn't know it. But anyway, it stole his deer or whatever it was.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the same way with the guy that I was talking to about the county out there. He's a guy that, goes to church where I go to church at out there. He don't believe in none of this stuff, but he told the story to me. He was trying to tell me it was a coyote drug it off or something. And I told him, I said, man, there ain't no damn coyote big that's gonna drag a deer off. And a coyote ain't gonna growl after you stand the ground. I mean, you scream at a coyote and they're gonna tuck their tail and run 90% of the time.
They're gonna disappear.
Yeah, unless they got rabies or something like that, they ain't gonna stick around, But,
Well,
the little something have.
Go ahead, BC.
Go ahead.
I was out hunting near Carter Cemetery. This is in Russell. And I think he bow shot it, if I'm not mistaken. And he followed the blood trail, and it was gone. And let me check here. It was like an 8-point buck. So, I don't think that's a coyote that took that off.
No, it ain't no coyote.
Now, in the mid-'90s, a friend of mine shot a deer, and he followed the blood trail, and he could see where it fell. But it was like, 10, 15 feet on further up from where it fell. And he said that its guts been tore open and the meat off the hindquarters had been ripped off. I mean, they found one that had been buried. I mean, leaves with arrow sticking out. That's a big cat.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
So I figured some got in there and took the internal organs. He didn't know if any of the organs were missing. He just thought that was really weird.
Yeah.
The guy that lost the 8-point, that's the one I'm going to try to talk into coming on here because he's got a lot of interesting stuff that I know you guys are going to want to hear.
Sounds good.
Yeah. The strangest thing happened to me that myself back in 2009. We had horses, and we kept the 3 we rode constant up close to the house. And our field was they know how to handle themselves, especially in a fight with a cow or a cat. And we lost the 2 mares, and the stud disappeared. And wrong. I mean, she was still alive. She had her neck partially broke. But the red one was tore all to pieces. I mean, you could tell she fought, but that stud, he was gone. We checked the fences and everything. None of the fences were broke. He just checked the neighbors. No, we had those scores like we were branded. And to this day, you could figure out where that horse went to, whatever happened to him. Okay, 5 foot, think our fence that this horse vanished from. And this was at a what they call a gaucho wire.
Yeah.
Strong, sharp wire. And I had it up. I took the fence down finally, and I just left that up right along my tree line. So, but that was thing ever happened to me. Where would a full-grown buckskin quarter horse disappear and not break a fence? Not top wire broke anywhere on that.
Just disappeared. Something either took it or
just. Well, the horse was natural for a good reason. he had like no memory, because I knocked the cross out one time.
Oh, yeah.
When he was young. But it just Joe buying livestock safe around these things, you know. Whether a dog man or a Bigfoot. But I like to get with BC some this week. I'm here. I'm traveling a lot. And I got a cam side on. That's all I got with me.
Right. He's got some good areas over there. I hadn't been able to get to all of them over there. I wanted to schedule a deal over there, but it hadn't worked out to get over there.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of
take it back. I got my. Well, I got my border with me. So get with him, DOS and fridge for the southern for the Arkansas boys page.
Right. I don't know what BC's got scheduled. You got anything going on, BC?
When is this? When are you talking about?
During this week, or how long are you going to
Just sometime this week.
This week?
Yeah.
Probably Saturday.
Saturday? I don't think I have anything going on Saturday.
Well, Saturday I'm headed to the room to the valley.
Right.
Y'all got some weird weather over here.
Well, y'all just have to talk with each other's schedule and figure out what y'all could do and look at some of it over. Me and
I'll talk to Robert, see if he wants to join in.
Yeah, I sent him a link tonight, but he may be working tonight.
Most likely he is.
Yeah. I talked to Sean today, and he's going to, what's that lady that contacted us, Carol, over Mount Magazine?
I think that's her name.
Yeah.
He's going to try to hook something up there. If he don't get nothing, or you, Thomas, anything where we can go over, I'm looking at August 27th. I'm going to try to get over there, and I don't know your schedule, but my vacation kicks in, so I'm going to try to take off that Saturday and come over and just visually kind of jump from place to place and see what we need to do, plan for this fall and maybe some events next year.
I'll
So
tell
if
you,
you
Is
got
that up on, is that up there on my magazine or on the other side of Greenwood there, almost in Oklahoma?
it's over there by Sugarloaf Lake. It's kind of close to the Poto Mountains, and I've actually been over to that lake several times and fishing and rode all around that area. It's I'm kind of skeptical on it, to be honest. If I mean, the lady said that she knew somebody, a lady over there that was feeding them, and she gave me the address of it and told me to go out there. And I told her straight up that I wasn't gonna, just
Uh,
show up at anybody's property without being invited. I
right. I'm kind of wishy on that lady. She's right over there. She's single. She's got 5 acres. She's got chickens,
she
and
told
she's
she
saying
told me
same thing. But her go ahead, John.
well, she told me. I think last night she had messaged me and responded a little bit. She said that her neighbor has 500 acres and that it was some elderly lady that's been out there feeding them for years or something. I told her I was very interested and I would, set something up if somebody could give me a phone number and I could make contact with somebody. But I'm not one to just, show up and go on somebody else's property because that's a good way
right,
to get shot.
not without permission or talking to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, because I've learned in the past if people are out there feeding these things and they've got a habituation type situation going on, a lot of times these top creatures, man, they feel like they got to protect their people that's feeding them and shit like that. And
Yep,
next thing you know, you walking through the woods over there or something, man, you might go up missing or something.
you never know.
That's,
But
Well,
anyway,
it's kind of like Ken King and his wife Rachel down in Warren. Learn off. I kind of know them. They live like you turn off 71 head to Hot Springs down there.
yeah,
They go out there and they fairs a few times a week. But whenever they went, I think it was New Mexico or Arizona, somewhere over in there. A few years ago, and when they came back, they had missing from the yard. I found it on their show was there was also damage done to their house and shop because now they've got these things relying on them for this very little trinkets and whatnot. You don't get these animals, and that's what
yeah.
they are.
I've tried a couple experiments. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've done some pretty weird stuff, just seeing if I get a response to them with live animals and stuff in the past. But I've learned that you don't try to feed them and habituate them. In my experience, like it's just not a good idea.
yeah. The main problem is I've talked to some that well, the one lady has got to where she can't move around very good on her one leg, had it operated on after she had been feeding them, and they actually come up and slapping the house and doing all the stuff because they're expecting the food and they want to know what happened, and she
Yeah,
just can't get out there. And I messaged her and I said, if you need us, we can come over and kind of persuade them maybe to leave, but she didn't want to
yeah,
go that far yet. And I said, well, if you need any help or anything, or if you just,
hmm,
if it's an area that we can do research in, let me know. And she hadn't contacted me back after that. But that was her problem, that she'd been feeding them and now she wasn't able to do it. And they were kind of getting aggressive with it, their actions.
yeah. Well, Well, I'm not opposed to doing like, counter surveillance type work if it's on public property or something like that. But I'm not going on nobody else's private property without permission.
Right.
Right, and that's a safe thing to do right there. And I don't have any problems like we did over at Neil's grandmother's house. Apples out, setting them out, and then putting camera traps out there trying to get a picture. I don't have a problem with that. My problem is like this lady over here we're talking Hackett area saying we're fed them. That's where I have a problem. Now they're going to get aggressive because she stopped feeding them. And you're walking through the woods, you're trespassing on their property. They're going to protect it. They're going to protect her. But again, it could turn on her just as easily.
Yeah, I believe that. I've heard several stories. People went on somebody else's property and had some crazy occurrences. Just put it that way.
Well, we'll just work with it more. And like I said, I'm going to come over and anyway go over to Devil's Den on that August 27th and back to area 2. I want to see, just visually see how much of the trees and everything's cut out of there and get with Neil. Hope he's doing good by then and everything's going good. And he could meet us over there or something. But that's August 27th. And I got to get back down and down to BC too, and him and Robert, and do some more investigations down there.
Yeah, I think fall would be a good time to go down to the Hurricane Lake area.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
And then I'll talk to my friend, see if he can't kind of take y'all around down there to the Russell and Bradford bottoms. I'll talk to him about that.
Sounds good.
I drove around this evening a little bit behind Lake Fort Smith down. I don't know if y'all know where Chester is, but there's a little creek that runs out behind there. A lot of people go back down in there swimming. It's pretty dried up right now, but I was able to walk pretty far down in there.
Yeah.
And I found some trails and a little bit of sign. I couldn't really make out if it was bear or something else, but it was, a pretty good sized trail coming through there.
Right.
I was looking for
you got to make it round to. Well, did you make it around to that old cemetery down there on that creek?
No, where's that cemetery at?
It's outside of Chester there along that creek. I haven't been there myself, but I've got a couple of great grandmothers buried in there.
Yeah,
It was my great grandmother, great grandmother. That valley there between the mountain. Great grandfather and great grandfather used to own that valley when they came over here. So I pretty well know part of that area. I probably used to say
there's somebody, I don't know if it's some kind of satanic stuff or what, but there were some rocks out there that somebody had painted like an all-seeing eye, and they painted it. It's like all in a straight line pointing to a certain direction. And I got to the end there, and on the side of where the rock is cut flat there, they painted on the wall. I think it was close your mouth and open your eyes, and it had like the all-seeing eye there, and then it had like a glyph of a spiral, which has always signified to me a portal. or something, and it had some other top glyphs there that I couldn't recognize, but it was pretty strange. It was some occult type stuff or some satanic stuff. I'll say that much.
Huh. Sound like
I
a
have heard of
strange area.
I have heard of people finding wood doll or dolls made out of branches, whatever, bound with what looks to be black human hair, but that may be somebody just imitating something they saw in Blair Witch or something. But that's just kind of creepy. You find stuff like that out in the woods.
Yeah, you don't play with that mountain voodoo stuff. That's some bad juju.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
But
usually try to stay away from it if I see any weird looking glyphs, and if I recognize that it's satanic or anything like that, I try to get out of the area. To be honest,
yeah.
I trust
yeah,
God today. You know.
Right.
well,
Got got a question.
BC wondering how
What what kind of Bigfoot groups would you recommend around? Uh, it says Alistair. I never heard of Alistair. I guess it's Alistair, Arkansas.
I've not heard of that.
I hadn't either. But
you know.
If
they're
they give us an idea of where they're at or what, if they just what county or what big town is near, that'd help.
but that's we're pretty much all over the state. If you just contact me or Thomas or Sean or BC, we can hook you up with somebody, or you're welcome to come out on any of our investigations, or just get a contact name and go from there and message. My group's the Arkansas Bigfoot Cartel. Thomas, you want to dub your group there?
Yep. All right. And Sean's a member of both Ryan Wendell's groups. It's the Arkansas Bigfoot Hunting Club.
Yep.
You have to check that one out.
But yeah, BC, BC, I'm over here about halfway down the road in Center Hill. One of y'all's
Yeah, I'm on the west
spots
side of
in
town.
Wendell Beach. Uh,
If you don't mind, I'll share that story that sighting that a friend of mine told me that occurred down in Ecuador of all places.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Well, he's been down there living for a while. I think he's going to stay there a few more months and then go travel around some more. But he had made friends with a local, and this guy apparently drives people down into the Amazon, because part of the Amazon is in Ecuador, but there's a high mountainous area, which I think that's where my friend lives. He told me the name of the town. I can't remember, but his friend was driving in the mountains. I mean, he was driving back towards the city, and they have what's called a speckled bear down in the Amazon, and they get about 260. And he's coming up one night, and he thought, at first glance, that's what he thought it was, but he noticed that its snout was longer, and then it stood up on two legs and just took off running. And this guy, from what he told me, grew up in the Amazon, and he's never seen anything like that, so it scared him pretty bad. So even down there.
Wow, yeah, that's that. Like we was talking, that sounds like it has to be a dogman encounter. And
Yeah.
They're just that. I think they started more Central America and that way, and around the equator of the globe, around like we talked about, all the way from Egypt. But they've populated, and now they're just like Bigfoot, can be all over the world.
Yeah. I've heard of sightings in New Zealand, which haven't been any sightings. I don't know if they're legit or not, but it wouldn't surprise me.
It's I pulled that up where Alistair is. It's outside of Helena. That's one
Okay.
part of the state that I don't have any
Uh,
contact.
No, me neither.
my close, my closest contact to West Helena would be Anthony Smith on the team. He's all right. Like they're like people in the group area. So if it was in the West Helena area, might talk to so and he's got law enforcement contacts down in there. In fact, two of the team members that work with him are in law enforcement down there. So it'll be an easy jump for.
Oh yeah.
But the thing, my only concern with him right now is he's some metal removed out of one of his eyes. And he lost about 50% sight in it. So he probably get fully healed. He may go out.
We're, we're getting some kind of crazy feedback or something, and everything's slowed down here. I don't know if it's the internet or what's going on. You still there, BC?
I'm here.
I'm here.
You're there.
Sound like echo came off of. I'm here.
Yeah.
It sounds like echo from Sean.
No, Sean's got his mic off, so
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it off so I don't create any kind of echo here. I'm on the phone, not a computer, so it may be causing issues.
Yeah, that sounds like it might be the computers and the internet.
yeah, I think the internet's slow and they've got a lag behind now all of a sudden. Because I'm down to one bar for some reason.
Uh-oh. Can y'all guys hear me all right?
I can.
Here you find.
Well, I was going to give y'all a little bit of information about that.
Nope.
I was going to try to give y'all information about that experience we had out there at Devil's Den. My wife just pulled up some of the pictures we took when we was out there. We got 5 kids, and we took 5 kids out there camping, and we was up, uh, you know, we was up probably 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, had a fire going, and it started out. We started hearing these owl sounds coming from different directions, and I know what a screech owl sounds like, and all kinds of other owls, but when you hear one owl from, the east, and then right after that, when you hear one from the west, and then another one far up the side of the mountain sounding off. I mean, we sat out there for 2 hours listening to these things, and they ended up coming closer and closer in around our camp. And it got to one point, Wendell, I never heard any kind of vocals like this in my life, man. Like they were talking to each other. They actually converged at one point. It was like, I'd say southeast of where our camp was, up on a ridge above us. And they would go to making these owl type sounds, but it would go into that guttural type monkey type chatter and growling at each other and just laughing, and it was the most extreme vocal I've ever heard. And This was on June 27th, 2020 is when we was out there. And there was a bunch of lightning bugs out there. I mean, it was a pretty magical type experience, to be honest with you. I mean, I never seen anything physically or anything, but they probably wasn't 40, 50 yards out in the woods from us. I mean, that's how close they were. Yeah, they make bird sounds, and it sounds like damn monkeys out there more than anything. Just, they go to, my wife's sitting right here, and she'd tell you she heard the same thing.
Yeah, I heard some sounds. I didn't know what was going on.
She wasn't a believer until we was out there, Wendell. She thought I was crazy. Up until that point right there, she's a believer now.
Well, they definitely mimic other creatures and everything when they're out there.
Yeah. I ain't had no fear about it. We sit right there around the campfire. My wife got a little scared, but I told her, I said, I don't think they're going to come in. They're just trying to show out. And we just sat around, poured more firewood on the campfire. And finally, they died down, and we didn't hear nothing else. I went and laid in the tent and stayed awake most of the night, you know, and we didn't hear much else. But it was like they converged at one point. They called. When it first started, you could hear them calling. It seemed like they was 5 to 10 miles away. They was calling each other in to one location, and they converged on one location. I tell you, man, it sounded like there was 20 or 30 of them damn things real close to each other.
Well, we had similar incidents. Wendell recalls a creek bed at Mountain View investigation here a while back.
Yeah, we did.
We were down right. We had those hoot calls starting to come in. You could tell it was not a hoot owl. Yeah, I wish Dale had made it tonight because when everybody started going to bed, every time Dale would get over to his truck, touch the door handle on his truck, and I'd touch mine, we were getting yells and knocks and everything else. It was like they were watching the camp. Yeah, I mean, it was 4:30 that before we made it edge. Right, one thing you don't call Wendell after you go from the radio.
It's kind of like that night we was up there at Area 2, and what's that guy's name that was with us that night? That went up there to the top of the mountain? I can't hear y'all now.
Are you talking about
Daryl or what Daryl? He's a Marine guy. Darren, yeah.
Yeah, that was Darren. Yeah, he's from our team.
Yeah, that was a pretty good experience that night. I mean, he made it to the top of that mountain, and we heard that owl sound with a guttural growl. And I'm not too sure if it wasn't the same one or another one, but it got parallel to where me, Wendell, and Clint was at, and we heard that same sound about it. It couldn't have been more than 20 yards off of the woods from us to the right there. I mean, that was pretty.
Yeah. Dale and I only back camp that one time. Y'all drove those up there, and we lost them on thermal. The honesty, we were having to work those thermals and one, give one a break, bring the other one up, and we lost them. So it's in a matter of switching thermals. They're fast. The weirdest one, I know Wendell remembers this one a little over a year ago. down at Camel Cemetery. Me and Wendell and Nell's son was walking back up the road, and all of a sudden we started hearing this hoot owl. And all of a sudden this hoot owl hooted, and right at the very end of the hoot it barked. I don't know if Wendell remembers that one or not.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, when we went out there to Devil's Den, my wife just made this remark, but it was right after they had opened up all the parks again. You know, when that COVID hit, they shut down all the parks and they wouldn't let nobody go camping or anything out there. And it was right after they had opened. They had just opened it. It was the first weekend they opened them back up to the public, and we went out there camping. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I thought I'd throw that in there too.
Right? They
Well,
shut
that
down.
could.
Well, we've made it to our hour-long time limit here, so and something's went crazy with our audio here. So I was just saying that
Yeah, you're freezing up on my end there, Wendell.
Yeah, same here.
So let's just regroup and see if we have more sightings and come back to the 23rd or around the 23rd of next month.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Sounds good, guys.
Sounds good. Hey, Sean, you head out toward Hackett. Let me meet up with you.
Yeah, I definitely will. If I get any more information from that lady, I'll definitely send you a message, Thomas.
All right.
Okay. BC, I'll get up. We'll go out sometime this week before I over.
All right, man. Just give me a holler.
All right. I'm going to end the live.
I sure will.
Want to thank everybody for coming and listening to us. And see y'all next month.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Y'all be good.
Thank y'all all for being here.
You too. Thank you.